fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. You got Craig and TK and Head that D, tune in at the fish report.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Tune in to the fish report.
Welcome, everyone, to another Fish Report Live. I'm Craig Fissinger. That is Ken Francis back in our sound room. It's the guys that make all the magic happen. TK and Heavy D will be joining those guys a little bit later in the show. And Ken, sometimes you get to that point in the high school tournament season where maybe some of the, a little farther down the road at the districts and regional, where maybe some of the local teams aren't in it anymore and you kind of lose interest. We don't have that problem this fall, do we?
Absolutely not, Craig. We'll start off with cross country, Craig. We got a ton of cross country teams running this weekend, whether they're up north in the North Regional or down in the Troy Regional with Shelby County Leagues. We got MAC schools. We've got them all over the place, Craig. Division 3 boys and girls. So going to be a lot of fun racing on Saturday, and just come out and watch the kids run. But also in volleyball. Unbelievable the amount of volleyball teams, Craig, that we have left playing for district championships. In the MAC, we've got 5 or 6 teams, I think, left in the MAC. Yeah. And Shelby County League has 4 teams. Lehman's still in it as well. So just great volleyball played in this area, Craig, and it's really showing this postseason. Yeah, we're going to try to hit as much as we can tonight, but like you said, a lot of teams to cover, so we'll see what we can do. But before we get to all that, just like we do here every week on Fish Report Live, we have our weekly poll question, and tonight we want to find out what people are doing this weekend. Well, Craig, we're going to ask our viewers out there, which sporting event do you plan to attend this Saturday? Will it be the regional cross-country meet, the district volleyball championship games? You'll attend both, or you'll attend neither. So which of those sporting events, high school, will you be attending this weekend? Yeah, if you're watching us on the Fish Report Live page, of course, you can scroll down, answer tonight's poll question, and check the results. If you're watching us on NK Telco or Game Face Ohio, TK will have those results for you at the end of the show. All right, Ken, well, let's get things started. Talking a little cross country, and of course, as you mentioned, the Southwest Regional in Troy is coming up this Saturday. And for our viewers out there, what team should they be watching for, or maybe what local individuals do we want to keep our eye on? Well, Craig, we'll talk about the girls first. And year in and year out, the Cedarville District now, which used to be the Dayton District, absolutely dominates that Troy Regional. We're going to start off, those top 4 teams last night were Covington, Russia, Fort Loramie, and West Liberty Salem. Also coming out of that Cedarville District was Miami East, Zanesville Legacy Christian, Milton Union, and also Springfield Catholic. So, Craig, all very good teams right there. Coming out of the Cincinnati District, we had Summit Country Day, Cincinnati Christian, Bethel Tate. When you look at those numbers, Craig, I give a heavy favorite to those top 4 teams that ran over there at the Cedarville District to come out on top. On an individual standpoint, Craig, we got a Bradford girl, actually, and a couple Lehman runners that I think are going to be near the top. Carmen Knepp from Bradford, Elena O'Leary, and Maria Schmeezing from Lehman, some of the top individuals in the race. Yeah, Carmen Knepp, of course, won that district meet in Cedarville last week. I expect her to be, like you said, near the top this weekend in Troy. And then I think it's going to be an interesting battle. Like you said, the Cedarville district, very strong. I think Covington, Russia going to battle out maybe for that number 1, 2 spot. And then Fort Loramie, West Liberty, also very strong. I think they're battling for the 3, 4 spot, but not too far behind those top 2 teams as well. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that shakes out. And let's check out the boys, Ken. What are they doing? Well, Craig, on the boys' side, you got one of the top teams in Ohio, Craig, that I feel is probably going to run away with this race, and that's Fort Loramie Redskins, Craig. They got a nice group of kids that run up front for them. You got Anna, I think that's got a very strong team, National Trail. Miami East is also very good. But then you got Houston, Milton Union, Russia, West Liberty, and Troy Christian. But in the Westchester District, Craig, they're a little stronger on the boys' side. Look for Summit Country Day to probably slide in there and grab one of them spots. But the rest of those teams down to Cincinnati, around in Westchester, Clark Montessori, Seven Hills, and so on. So I think it's the Cedarville District's mainly going to dominate that. Look for the Fort Loramie Redskins to be the team to beat. On an individual basis, Craig, you got Austin Folenkamp, great runner from Botkins, having a really good year. And also Parker Morris from Jackson Center. He'll be contending as well.
Yeah, and I think the top kid, one of the top kids you're looking for, kind of a local, but Corey Hamlin over there from Bethel, a junior, kind of splits his time between soccer and cross country, but a very good runner, won the Cedarville District last week, and I expect him to be near the top as well. Well, Ken, you mentioned the Russia Raiders, and of course, one of their top boys, their top runner here the last several weeks has been Zach Bell. He just recently was named second team All-SCAL. His PR this season so far is a 17:06. We're happy to have him live on the phone right now. Zach, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, listen, you're having a great season, just a junior, and you're returning to the Troy Regional this Saturday where you actually ran there last year. But, Zach, last year when you ran at Troy, you were kind of Rushie's, I guess, their number 7 runner, and here recently you've been Rushie's number 1 runner. So what's been the difference between where you're at right now and where you were at last season at this time?
Well, last year I spent most of the year battling an injury, and I don't have to worry about that as much this year. I ran during the summer this year, and I've been keeping up my health by going to the doctor and chiropractor. I've also matured as a runner and going on, and I found out what kind of runner I am, what kind of race I'm going to run, and that's what I've done different this year.
Okay, well, listen, there's 14 boys teams at the Troy Regional this weekend, including a number of state-ranked teams in Fort Loramie and Anna, and I believe National Trail is maybe state-ranked as well. Zach, only 4 teams advance, which presents a real challenge for your Russia Raiders. So what's your mentality or what's your team's mentality heading into Saturday's race?
Well, we have to go in knowing that we can do it, thinking that we can do it. Our adrenaline will be pumping from all the fans. We know we have the team to do it. We can do it. We just have to run our good race. Foss has got us ready to go, and we'll be ready.
Well, hi, Zach. This is Ken. Let's talk a little bit about your teammates. Particularly seniors, Alex Seger, Ethan Monier, 2 great kids, been around the program for a long time. Tell me how important they are to the program and how they've helped you develop into a better runner.
Well, ever since my 7th grade year, I've been running with them in junior high, and they've been pushing me to be a better runner all the time. They show leadership, and every time they'll show up to the race, and they'll give it everything they got.
Zach, some of your other teammates, Gavin George, Jordan Bussey, Andrew Deloy, those are some of the top runners on the team. But let's talk about a freshman that's having a fantastic year this year, and that's Mason Daypor. Explain how the potential of Mason can help this team, what he's got to focus on in this Troy Regional with a state berth on the line, and, what makes him so good?
Well, Mason's a great runner. He has a great mentality. He has a lot of potential for us. He's talented. He knows how to finish a race. He's great. But Gavin and Jordan, they're second-year varsity runners. They know what they're going into Saturday. They got it. But it's new for Andrew and Mason. They've never ran at regionals before, but we still expect a lot of them. They'll do great this year.
Zach, let's talk a little bit about the whole program in general. Coach Foster has been a fantastic coach over the years for the boys and girls program. Amazingly, Zach, this is the 11th consecutive year that he has had the boys and girls programs together at the regional meet. Explain to us the camaraderie between the two teams and how you guys help push each other through a meet.
Well, this camaraderie it's always with us. During the meets, they're a great help. The girls team, they'll always cheer us on, even if it means they're stop their own warm up or cool down. And that also goes for us guys too. We'll stop our warm up or cool down. We'll cheer them on, and we'll let the girls know that we're rooting for them. We're always there for each other.
All right, Zach, listen, hey, one more question before we let you go. But speaking of those two teams being at the Troy Regional this weekend, the Russia fans have made quite a tradition of their pre-race or their tailgate party during the race, and I think they're going to be at it again this year. I know when you're running on the levee banks there at Troy, it can be pretty loud with that crowd. Can you hear those Russia fans, or do they do anything for you when they're screaming for you?
Yes, always. You always know if it's a Russia person cheering for you. They'll always call you by name unless they call you by your siblings by accident. But there's certain people that at a race you'll always hear in a crowd, whether that be your parent, classmate, or anybody. The fans are always there, and we appreciate everybody who shows up to our meets.
Well, Zach, I got to tell you, if you hear one guy yelling Z-Bell, that's me, because that's what I've always called you your whole career. So I'm going to call you that Saturday, too, if that's all right.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, listen, Zach, I appreciate you being on our show with us tonight. Best of luck to you individually, also the boys' team as well as the girls' team over at the Troy Regional. It's a great spectator sport over there, and it's one of the best cross-country meets in the state of Ohio. Good luck, and congratulations on a great season.
All right, thank you, and thanks for having me.
All right, thanks, Zach. All right, that was Rushie's top runner right now, Zach Bell. Like I said, Ken, just a junior. And for any fans maybe sitting at home this weekend thinking, I don't have nothing to do, maybe they're a mediocre fan and don't follow cross country a whole lot, wondering if they maybe should come out to the Troy Regional. Any advice or any tips for them?
Well, Craig, absolutely they should come out. I mean, it's a mini state meet. It's some of the best teams in Ohio year in and year out. And, it's close to home. It's a lot of fun. It's a great spectator atmosphere. And like you said there, you're on the banks of the river there, and it's just a miraculous Ohio high school sport. Come out and watch the kids run.
Well, I know one little reminder, last year they actually started charging admission for the first year ever. And, you better get there early. Otherwise, you might end up in a line.
Yes, you might. I've seen very long lines over there at Troy Memorial Stadium, and I'm sure this year will be no different. So, again, be sure you get there early. If you do get there early, go ahead and pay to get in, even though you're not going in. That way when it's time to go inside and watch the race, you can just walk right on in. So, word of advice, don't get there late.
All right. Well, listen, we're going to take a short break now, but stay right there when we come back. We're going to talk some volleyball, including an interview with Ohio's #1 ranked coach.
Stage at the leaving van. Music starts at 8 o'clock. You can find us here every Wednesday night. It's usually the same cats every week, but I can't tell you all their names. Teacher, cat, and a junkie, all waiting for time to play. Everybody here's got something that we're trying to leave behind. We're all a little broken, for a place to hide. Get no answers, don't ask any questions. We're all here just looking for a high. And we're all beautifully broken here tonight.
Welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live, everyone. Before the break, we were talking some cross country. Going to talk a little volleyball now, Ken. And I know we're going to focus kind of on the Southwest District, but I know there's a lot happening in the Northwest, as you mentioned at the top of the show. Probably not going to get to a whole lot of that, but I do know that there's some big matchups. Last week, we talked to Marion coach Erica Schulte, and her team unfortunately went down to the Minster Wildcats. Minster is meeting New Bremen, which is a very good team, state ranked as well. That ought to be a good one. And then just tonight, I noticed Coldwater won, and it's playing the winner of St. Henry Fort Recovery. I think St. Henry had the lead in that one. So some MAC battles. They're just knocking each other out up there in the Northwest.
Yeah, there's some great volleyball up there in the MAC, Craig. And, like you said, that Minster Marion local game was a great game. The Minster New Bremen game is going to be a good one. So just some real interesting matchups up there as the MAC schools continue to knock each other out.
Well, let's take a quick look at the Southwest, and let's pay attention a little bit to Division III, because I know we have some viewers from those areas. And what do we got? Division III.
Couple local teams here, Craig, in fighting for district championships in Division III. The Anna Rockets coming in at 14-10, taking on Williamsburg. Craig, they're 22-1. I'm sure they haven't played the caliber of schedule that the Anna Rockets have played, but nonetheless, 22-1 in a solid volleyball team. And down there in the bottom bracket, Craig, Hamilton-Baden and taking on the Versailles Tigers. Traditional volleyball match up there between two rich volleyball schools. So look for some really good action there in Division III.
All right, and let's take a quick look at Division IV here, Ken. And what do we have in the Southwest District at Troy?
Well, Craig, it's amazing. Shelby County League's got 4 teams left yet in the volleyball tournament. Division IV, Craig, top bracket there: Jackson Center, Cincinnati Christian. There's Jackson Center sitting at 24-0, ranked number 1 in the state of Ohio. That look for them to advance. Bottom game there, Craig, Miami Valley Christian at 19-3, a good record there. Fort Loramie Redskins, Craig, I think they're going to be too strong, too powerful. I think they'll move past them. But that game in the middle, very interesting. Our Russia Raiders on 14-10, having a great postseason run here, taking on Lehman Catholic at 14-9. The two teams got together earlier in the year. Expect Greg Snipes and Aaron Watkins to have his teams really fired up. I think the fans are going to be into it, Craig. That's going to be a great volleyball game. Russia's getting great play right now out of their front line, also their libreros in the back row, and just some great all-around volleyball that Aaron Watkins has his team playing right now. So, the Raiders are clicking at the right time.
Yeah, excited to watch that one on Saturday. And you mentioned those Jackson Center Tigers. Of course, they're led by head coach Kim Metz. Had her on this show a couple years ago. Happy to have her back again live tonight. She's on the phone. Coach Metz, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, Ken. Craig, thank you very much for your interest in the volleyball programs that we have in our area, and yeah, thank you very much for inviting me.
Well, listen, Coach, Ken and I were just going through the Division III and the Division IV matchups, and we still have 4 teams left from your league playing. You've seen all these teams a couple times this year. Are you at least a little bit surprised that 4 SCAL teams are still playing?
Well, I apologize. Yes, absolutely. With Anna, I apologize. Anna, Fort Loramie, Russia, and our Tigers up here. I tell you, it's a great league to play in, and does it surprise me? Oh, absolutely not. I think these kids are doing what they need to do to find success, and I think it's a great statement for our league and where we have come and where we have yet to go.
All right, well, listen, Coach, I read an article in the Sydney paper at the beginning of the season where you said that this year's team is spending time on the basics. Now, to me, that sounds like a statement you would make for a team that's not very talented, but you're the opposite of that. You've got a great program. You're coming off a state championship. Wouldn't you take time, Coach, to work on things that other teams aren't capable of instead of working on the basics?
I don't think you can get away from doing an awful lot of fundamentals, and that's basically what we focus in on those every single day. I think there's still a lot of ball contact. We've got very thankful for having the kids that are back on our squad this year, but there are a few that have had different roles throughout the season, and you just have to make sure that you're taking care of the little things to make the big things happen. So basics and making things habits is part of our daily grind.
Coach, hi, this is Ken. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you on your state championship last year and also an undefeated season so far this year. Being ranked number 1 in the state of Ohio, quite an accomplishment coming off of a state championship last season. I want to go back. I want to go back to 2014, an interview you had with Press Pros magazine, and you said, quote, "Don't ask me my record because I don't have any idea." Coach, I want to tell you something. This year you're 24-0. All right? So if you didn't know, I'm going to tell you. And You're currently
We don't
ranked.
talk about it.
I can imagine, and that's great. You're currently ranked number 1 in the state of Ohio. And do you feel the kids having any pressure on this, or do you handle it exactly the way you just told me?
I would have to say yes, the latter. We don't talk about it at all. There's absolutely nothing that we focus on. We've proven nothing. And the kids, that's what we keep telling them. And they believe it. They know that that there's other things that they need to make sure that they're focusing on. The past is the past, and you can't really focus on what you have done. It's kind of every year has a different set of goals, and every kid is different year after year. Those accolades and those things are nice, but some of those things don't get you W's. You still have to take care of, like I said in the past, you have to take care of the basics.
Coach, that's very impressive coming from a veteran coach like yourself, and to be able to handle high school kids and to get that through to them. That's a fantastic way of coaching. I want to talk a little bit about your upcoming opponent, Cincinnati Christian. They come into the Saturday's game that they don't have a super impressive record like you guys. I don't know how intimidating this team might be, but like any postseason game, you got to take it serious. You got to take them there. They're there for a reason. They've earned their way to play in that district championship game.
Right.
What is it about this team that concerns you as a head coach, and what's it going to do what's it going to take for the Tigers to move on to the regional?
One of the main things is, we focus on what we need to do to take care of our side of the court. Defensively, offensively, has been the focal point from the get-go. And, that's talking all the way back in, when we were coming for open gyms, in July. So, that kind of has to stay mentally and emotionally as our focal point. Cincinnati Christian, they're going to bring a couple nice players. We've got to keep an eye on Grace Edmondson. She does some nice things in the middle, so we'll have to definitely keep an eye on her. And they have Bethany Allison as one of their outside hitters that can do some things. But again, we just the schedule that you play and focus on those little things, and it's one game at a time. It's 1 point at a time. As far as I know, we've still not earned any extra 3-point plays or anything in the game of volleyball. So obviously, every single point counts.
All right, Coach. Hey, listen, one more question before we let you go. I actually got a chance to watch your Lady Tigers visit our Arooshie Raiders earlier this season, and got to watch some of your players compete over the years in other sports too, like on the basketball court and on the track. It seems to be like you got some great athletes, some great students over there at Jackson Center. What's it like to be a coach and a staff member over there at Jackson?
It's great every day. Sure, you've got kids around you. You don't know from 1 minute to the next what's going to happen, but in the world of volleyball, I only get them for about 3 months out of the year, and the ideals and thought process of what they have, the backbone of our school and our program are the parents. We just really are thankful that these kids have well-balanced parents that are encouraging them and keeping them level-minded and pushing them both in the classroom and on the court, or even if it's at a band performance or a choir performance, even academia. I've been very blessed with great support from the parents and community. These are smart kids. Several of them are 4-point students. So you know that they've got to do the things behind the scenes to be able to do the things on the court. So we just have a great time. I think there's not a practice that goes by that we're not picking on somebody or joking about this and just laughing and having a great time. So it's great. It's a blessing. I love my job.
Coach, listen, from Craig and I and the guys in the sound room, TK and Heavy D, we wish you the best of luck this year. Congratulate you again on your
Thank you.
state championship from last year. The tremendous season your kids are having this year. You're in your 29th season over there as the head coach of the Lady Tigers, and congratulations everything you've done, and thanks for being on our show tonight.
Absolutely. Fellas, thank you very much. Ken, Craig, you guys have a great program, and I think you do a wonderful job of promoting small-town sports and the athletes and the communities that they're a part of. So kudos to you guys. Great job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. All right, that was the head coach of the Jackson Center Lady Tigers, Kim Metz. And like I said, it's been a couple years since we talked to her, Ken. Sounds like she's got the same old program going over there again.
Yes, she does. Craig, sometimes you just got to look at the head coach and you look at the program and say, hey, they're good.
Yeah.
They're very good. She's done a great job over there, and she's got a great team again this year.
All right, well, let's get back to the sound room, checking with the guys back there, Ken. And guys, I know there's some other sports going on, namely football, getting close to the playoffs, heading into the last week of the regular season. And TK, I'll check in with you with 1 week left in the high school football season. Who's looking good for the playoffs right now?
Well, Craig, obviously we already have some teams that are in with the points that they've earned so far. So we got Coldwater, Marion Local, and Minster out of the MAC. Covington, Lehman, and Troy Christian are also in right now. If you're looking for a good football game, you don't have anything else to do. The big one this weekend is Fort Recovery and St. Henry. Both teams at 6-3 in the MAC, or out of the MAC, and at 6-3. Both teams looking for a win to move on. So win and you're in, lose and maybe got to hope for a little bit of luck. But should be a great game between two nice teams there.
So yeah, win and you're in. That's all you can ask for. You win the game and you're in the playoffs. What more could you want? And TK, who's on the outside looking in maybe right now with a shot?
There's a couple on the outside. Couple can maybe push themselves in. Hoping things happen in their way. Looking at Anna going to travel up to Minster. That should be a good game. Anna at 5-4 has a couple nice wins. This one would really help them, even though Minster doesn't have the best record. Minster has some nice wins this year as well. And obviously they're already in the playoffs. Versailles hasn't been eliminated, but at 4-5, traveling to New Bremen. Slim pickings there, but they might just fall in at the end. And then finally, our Shelby County friends up the road, our Fort Laramie Redskins, they are out this year at 5-4. They are eliminated, but traveling to Perry. They are hosting Perry. Hope to get another win to end their season. The Redskins have been plagued by a bit of injuries this year, off and on, kids in and out. So not the best season that they'd probably hope for, but a good season nonetheless. Chance to end it on a winning note, going 6-5 if they can pull one off this weekend.
Good stuff there, TK. Yeah, a lot of good football heading into this last week, and we'll see how it all shakes out on Friday night. And Heavy D, I want to go over to you. We've covered pretty much all the sports that I'm aware of, but I think you've got one other sport that's going on this fall you want to talk about.
Yeah, actually, deer hunting season has started. Bow hunting season came in on September 24th, and you know what? Deer hunting's no different than basketball or other sports. All the preparation's done in the off season. I know my son Zach. He shot his bow this year probably 100 times in the backyard. He's out looking for scrapes. He's out looking for rubs. He's checking his trail cameras, monitoring the deer population going in and out. He's got 6 tree stands set up around the area. And this past weekend, he came home from college and he got himself a doe. And pretty happy about that. So just a couple statistics about deer hunting in the state of Ohio. For those of you who are swerving and avoiding them on the roads today, last year, hunters in Ohio shot 188,000 deer. And if you're really into it and you like venison, you can get yourself 6 deer this year in the state of Ohio if you go to the right spots. Also, another hot tip for those kids, for the youth of the area, youth season comes in for shotgun season, November 19th and 20th. I picked up my son Will's license tonight, and he's going to be ready to go come the 19th of November.
That's good info there, Heavy D. Does Rushi have a team? Do they have a deer hunting team by any chance?
They don't have a team, but it's an individual sport, I think.
Oh, okay.
But, I know that's a lot of deer. I didn't realize there was that many deer taken last year, and to have the opportunity to possibly get up to 6 deer this year in different parts of the state of Ohio, there must be a very huge high population of deer right now.
There's Zach right there with that deer. That's a
I mean, if you're into 6 deer, you got things like venison pot pie, venison meatloaf, venison shrimp. You name it.
You've eaten venison for a while.
Anything you want.
All right, well, that's good stuff, guys. Thanks for bringing us those reports, and maybe we'll talk some deer hunting more here.
Kind of reminds me of the old Heavy D's adventure we had one time.
That's been a while ago, but that was a good show. That was a classic there.
Yeah, it was.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us tonight. I do want to say special thanks to our guests, Rushie's Zach Bell and Jackson Center's Kim Metz. Ken and I and the crew, we're all going to be back again next week, same time, same place. Thanks for joining us tonight. Until next week, we'll see you later.
Hanging at the fish report. 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 For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the